Welcome to my channel. I am GDP, and today we're going to have my review of the new hero. Pardon me here if I am wrong, and this is going to be the only time I say this in this video. Inosuke. Um, and I'm going to call him either the samurai guy or Ino the rest of the time. But before we continue, I'd appreciate if you guys hit that like and subscribe button down below. Go ahead and smash the living heck out of that. But we're going to go talk about this new hero real quick. I'm going to show off a couple of his mechanics and kind of go down on how he works and also show a little bit of PvP stuff. I personally don't think. We'll just go on to it later, but let's go ahead and go into his skills first. Um, Starting off with the last passive, as I always do it. Raid Wind here. When a round ends, if Ino is protected by a Sword Wind shield, he will deal damage to one random enemy equal to 40% of their current HP. The damage caps out at 1500% of his attack, and then his shield here is a skill effect, which offsets the direct damage received. It will disappear when the strength of the shield is 0. The shield strength caps at 5000% of his self attack. We'll talk a little bit about the shield in a little bit. Let's go ahead and continue on with his skills here, because the last passive is pretty much built into other skills as well. His second passive is basic attack, targets 3 enemies, dealing 300% of attack damage, gains self a Swordwind shield with its strength equal to 50% of the damage, increases self 300% of attack for 4 rounds, and 20% of crit damage for 4 rounds. So this 20% or 30% attack and 20% crit damage does stack, so you can stack it up to 4 times if you do get your energy drained by a carry constantly. But normally you're only going to get it to stack of like anywhere from 2 to 3 every time. You probably rarely hit the 4 unless he's just constantly energy drained. Let's go ahead onto the stat skill here, or the stat passive. HP 25%, attack 35%, control immunity 30%, speed 60%, and crit damage received minus 25%. Nothing super interesting. That's pretty much basic. All these stats are pretty much basic from all the other ones. You got control immunity, HP, and attack. So that's pretty good. The interesting one here is the crit damage received. That is the first of its kind baked into a hero's skills. Normally you see that in his shelter, in your E2 ability here, which is minus 15%. So that means if you do run shelter, you do get a minus 40% crit damage received. So that is pretty good actually for reducing some crit damage that you get. So if you do run shelter, it is kind of a nice chunk of damage reduce, or mitigated damage I should say, onto Ino here. And then onto his active skill here, he deals 1200% of attack damage to 3 random enemies and gains a Swordwind shield with its strength equal to 500% of the damage. If Ino's protected by one of his shields, he releases an active skill. If Ino is protected by a shield when he releases his active skill, this attack is guaranteed to crit and will deal extra damage to one random enemy equal to 80% of their current HP. So let's talk a little bit about these skills here. I meant to forget that is capped out at 500 or 5,000% of his attack. So I have found that let's first talk about the current HP damage here. This can be reduced by an enemy's A and B. Real quickly, I'll show that right here. So if you see from the little clip there, the end of the round damage was pretty massive when Russell's HP was full, hence the 40% current HP. So yes, that was pretty large. It did get reduced by the AMB, but once the Russell's HP was really, really low, that 40% of the current HP is actually a lot smaller now. So the AMB was able to effectively reduce that damage that it had down to -1. So that does kind of prove right there that AMB does reduce this current HP damage. The next thing I wanted to point out that his shield does work with AMB. So say he has a shield of 1 million damage absorption, and he takes a hit that would normally hit for 1 million, but AMB say reduces that to 200k. That shield's only going to take 200,000 damage rather than the 1 million. And also the damage that the shield absorbs does go into the damage calculation. So if you're going to take a 2 million hit and you had that same 1 million shield, you're only going to take 1 million HP damage. So it does kind of work together. There is leftover kind of spill damage. So yeah, so it doesn't just block it. It doesn't just like negate it, that damage. So it does actually do like a damage calculation for that shield. The next thing I wanted to mention is underneath the shield description, it says offsets to direct damage received. I was kind of curious on what exactly that meant, but throughout testing, I did figure out this meant all basic attacks, active attacks, and also passive damage, as long as the damage that is done is not true damage. So this means it stops or absorbs, say, like Garuda passive, Russell arrows, it will stop. But it won't stop an Amon-Ra curse, it won't stop Sherlock's HP swap, it won't stop Penny reflect, it won't stop Carry DM, it won't stop Ada mark. Basically anything that's true damage, it won't stop. So it basically just goes right through the shield, and nothing, no damage is reduced from the shield, or the power of the shield isn't reduced. So that was a little bit there, and then let's talk about the actual damage he does. You got 300% onto his basic, and also 1200% to 3 random enemies on his active, and that's 3 random on his basic also. So he does have some pretty decent sizable damage here, but not enough to really have his shields be super effective, to at least like stop like an SFX or some large Russell active. So that was one thing I did notice, but let's go ahead and show some testing that I have done here. So let's start off showing Russell here. This is kind of like just to show that he does block the arrows here. Does also show that the active or the current HP will go down. So as you can see, his shield kind of got absorbed right there by the active. Went kind of ate right through it, but you see this -0 from the first couple arrows, and then it blew through it, and now he's taking more damage from those arrows. And then he's actually gonna get killed by those arrows. Let's watch that one more time. So -0. So large active coming up, it's just gonna eat right through the shield, and then the arrows are gonna tick. And then I believe he's gonna be able to get like another basic off, build some shields up. And then -0 off the first arrow, and then there wasn't much shield left. So it goes right on through it and then finishes them off. Let's do for the next test here, kind of show a Amon-Ra kind of healing curse. So let's put in my Ignis here. Where's my Ignis? I passed Ignis, right? Wait, no, my Ignis is 350 now. Forgot. So now there should be a healing curse going on to him. At least not yet. So he did -0, so he's not going to build into a shield. And there we go. Ignis kind of just killed both of them. All the damage went right on through the shield. Yep, right down through the shield. So it didn't actually reduce any of his shield. It just kind of goes right on through it. So he still got his shield there. And then now he's not going to be able to heal anymore because Ignis is dead. But yeah, so that's what happens with an Amun-Ra curse. Kind of goes right on through it. The next fight I wanted to show was with a Penny. Kind of show the reflect damage here. So he gets a nice shield here. So he still got shield, and then the Penny reflect went right on through it. Didn't weaken it. You saw that last second there. And then one more test, I believe, wanted to show. The next thing I wanted to show was a carry here to kind of show what happens when a hero dodges. He doesn't build up a shield. And then also the carry DM kind of just goes right through his shield. So he's still getting -0 here. Did not get any DMs. Did we get a DM here? Yep, we got a DM here, but we didn't have a shield there. That damage was 3.2. Not get no. There's a DM. So as you can see, 3.6 million. He still has the shield. So the DM went right through his shield. But let's see if we can get like a round 1 dodge here. Yep, round 1 dodge, no shield. So that kind of shows that the dodge, if she dodges, obviously there's no damage done, so no shield is built. So now that we have kind of gone through the skills here and kind of showed you guys a little bit of testing, I wanted to talk about his uses and where I think he's going to fit in Idle Heroes. So let's start off with early game. I think he is going to be a fantastic early game hero, probably onto the list of early game carries, mainly because he's going to be able to push you really far into Aspen Dungeon, and I believe he's going to have a lot of PvP viability in the early game. I believe those shields that he stacks up are going to overrun a lot of other heroes in the early game, and they're just not going to be able to eat through his shield. And he's just going to be able to be protected from that shield with minimal heals and kill the other team before they kill you. So I think in early game it's going to be really good. I have seen some Sealand 20 clears with him. But the ones I did see did use upgraded artifacts. So I don't know if Sealand 20 is going to be reachable without upgraded artifacts. At least I haven't seen yet. But you still would probably be able to push into like at least 16, 17, or 18 with them at E5 with free-to-play artifacts. I did see a Sealand 20 with a glittery MSS and another one with a splendid AMB. So those are just two examples of artifacts that I've seen him clear Sealand 20. In the Aspen Dungeon, I believe he's going to be able to easily get Death 1 at least. And if you have your upgraded AMB, I do believe you're going to be able to push him well into above Death 50. I think he'll probably be a decent alternative to Russell in the Aspen Dungeon. I do think he's going to be pretty good. I believe there's going to be some waves that Russell can't beat that he can, but he's going to struggle against heroes like Ada. So that's going to be his downfall in the Aspen Dungeon. I don't think he's going to be able to do well against Ada because of Ada's end of the round passive damage. and how much attack he builds up through his passive skill, I think that Ada end of the round damage is going to eat through him because he has so much attack. Into the mid game, I do believe he's still going to be really good into the mid game. I think it's going to be able to serve well in the mid game. When you start getting into the late game, as I believe when his PvP viability is going to kind of start dying off. Wait, he just took 0 damage. Wait, he just took 0 damage again. What the heck is that? So, I was making this video, and I actually had this completely made up. And I thought this hero is going to be kind of trash for endgame, not going to have any uses. And then I realized I was building him all wrong. You actually don't want to build him Splendid A and B. What I've noticed is you actually want him to have a little bit higher HP, so he's not targeted by Russell arrows. He's not targeted by enemy sword flash Shias. You actually want to have other heroes that are lower HP, but also have enough attack where he is able to stack up his shields. So I built him with a full ranger set here, speed attack, and also a splendid golden crown here. This is because of the true damage, talking back to where his shields were, how his shields don't actually block true damage. Well, his weakness is pretty much solved, at least for the very early rounds, with the golden splendid crown. And this allows him to stack up his shields, hopefully stay out of the low HP kind of target meta, like with the Rogans and the SFX, and hopefully you don't get hit in those early rounds, and you can stack up some of your shields. I did find out that Amun-Ra does help counter that, because Amun-Ra's shields come up and negate all of his damage, so he can't build up a shield. So I believe Amun-Ra is going to be coming back a little bit more into the meta, the TOC at least, because this is where I found the power to be really good, is in TOC. So I am going to show you guys some clips here. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but these clips are pretty insane. Kind of shows the true power of this new hero in the TOC mode. And I actually changed my mind earlier. I said he's not going to be very useful in the early game or the late game, and I just can't say that anymore. He does have a use. He does seem to be pretty strong in TOC. I don't know exactly how strong, but man, when he stacks up those shields, ooh, he is almost unkillable as long as you have lower HP heroes in him. You can soak up the actives from Sword Flash pretty well if he has a stacked up shield. Like, he can do quite a number, and he does quite a bit of damage. So I hope you guys enjoy these clips. I'm not going to talk much anymore, but see you guys in the next video.